Hello, hello, hello. It is B with the B code, Alpha Female Talk, and I am back at you again with another video. Well, I kind of consider this to be a live taping. So, as you can see by the title of my video, by the title of my video, the discrimination of light-skinned black women. Let me do something here. Hold on one second. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure I could hear myself. So, anyway, first of all, I'd like to say thank you to all of my subscribers and those who watch my videos. Um, Please feel free to hit the thumbs up, thumbs down, like or share, or dislike and don't share. Do whatever it is you do. Anyway, I decided to do this, cover this topic, I should say, because a lot of people don't feel as if light skinned women can be or are discriminated against. But anyway, before I jump into that, I was out in these Facebook streets this morning, early this morning, and or was it YouTube? I think it was YouTube, but no, I think it was either or YouTube, internet streets. How about that? And I had seen this video before, and I wanted to I wanted to dig into it because first of all, it just didn't make any sense to me that somebody would fix their lips to say what they say. My thing was, were you paid to say it? Is this really how you feel, or are you not understanding what's going on, or can you not see the ramifications of what you're speaking on? So anyway, let me see if I can pull this up really quick, and we'll take a listen to it. Hold on. What can I? Okay, pause. All right, here we go. I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna share my screen, and I just want to dig right into this because this was just I'm like, I caught it, got it again, I got it again. Let me go ahead and pull it up. No, no, that's not the one I want. This is the one I want. Okay, here we go. So this guy, Thomas Sowell, and it's just a snippet of I don't know, a greater conversation that he was having or a greater interview that he was doing. But I just really want to address what's coming out of his mouth because I want to clarify it for a lot of people. So, and I've had this discussion with uh, people of other races because they couldn't understand the differences and how, slavery affects black people differently than it affect other races of other people who were also enslaved. But anyway, let's listen to him really quick, and then I'll give my commentary.
Slavery has been a universal institution for thousands of years. And what we're looking at is if slavery is something that happened to one race of people in one country, when in fact the spread of it was around the world. In 1776, Western Europe is the only place in the world where there is no slavery. And so if you're going to have reparations for slavery, it's going to be the greatest transfer of wealth back and forth, because the number of whites who were enslaved in North Africa by the Barbary pirates exceeded the number of Africans enslaved in the United States. Nobody is going to North Africa to ask for reparations because nobody is going to be fool enough to give it to them.
Thomas Sowell just debunked the lies about slavery.
Okay. Now we heard what he said, right? So here's my take on that. And this is how I explain it to every person that I come in contact with who says, oh, well, everybody suffered some form of slavery, or everybody, dealt with slavery. And this connects to what I'm, the topic of my video. So when you had the Filipinos who were colonized by the Spanish or the Spaniards, and you had other races that were enslaved by other people. You had, they say, oh, white people were enslaved. Everybody was enslaved. Here's the difference with that, and this is what I said to the people, the few people that I did have this conversation with. The difference is that we can tell that black people were enslaved. Okay, so let's put it like this. Before interracial dating became legalized, the only way that a light skinned child would come about was from relations with a white man that enslaved black people, or black people that were enslaved to white people. And so this is how you can tell that black people were enslaved at that time. Like I said before, interracial relationships and different things of that nature became, willing. Now, when you have, and I just do Filipino and Spaniards because it's just, at the forefront of my mind, because I just recently had a conversation with somebody about that. We can't tell. You know why? Because they all still look the same color. White people that were enslaved by white people, they all still look the same color. If they themselves were raped during their slave time, who knows? We can't tell that because they all still look the same color, right? And then fast forwarding, they all reap the benefits of who they are, right? Now, when you want to look at black people and black people being enslaved, we still see the how do I want to put this? We still see the results of black people being enslaved, which is the different shades of black that's out there. And not to mention the fact that black women are still referred to as girl, and black men are still referred to as boy, right? Not to mention the fact that um, the treatment that black people still receive from other races of other people. So when you have somebody like this saying, "Oh, everybody was enslaved, and oh, if we give, reparations, everybody would have to get no, 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 baby boy," because see, black people are still discriminated against, excluded, and everything under the sun that's bad that can happen to people as a result of other races of people. So if I go to Europe and hang out somewhere, my color is going to be noticed, right? If you have a black woman and she brings her light skinned daughter, even though they're both still black, you can still see the difference, right? So had we been enslaved by our own people and our own people only, and then the things that would have happened to us, that happened to us in slavery by our own people, fast forwarding until today, we would not know. Okay, we wouldn't know. So in order for us to really tell the difference, or say, oh my god, other races of people, they were enslaved by, same race or another race. The fact still remains that, fast forwarding till today, you would have to look up their history of slavery in order to see some of the things that happen or learn about the things that happen. But when it comes to black people, all you have to do is look at this light skinned child, and I'll tell you right then and there. Right? And this is before interracial dating became legal. You can automatically look at a child, a light skinned child, and say, oh, well, I know, you're a result of slavery. I know that child is a result of slavery. I know that little girl is a result of slavery. I know that little boy is a result of slavery. Right? But when you look at people of other races who were enslaved by the people with the same skin tone, same hair tone, same uh I guess we want to say features, we can't tell. We'd have to ask the question, were you ever enslaved? Were you ever enslaved? We'd have to ask that question because there's no telltale signs. There's just history, but for black people, you don't even have to look back into history. You can just look at the color of the children and tell exactly what happened during slavery. Like I said, and not to mention the fact that black people are still treated bad till this day. So how many of those other races that were enslaved, what's their plight as of today? What are they dealing with as of today as a result of them being enslaved years ago? What difficulties are they having? Because they're not having black people's difficulties. They're not having black people that have been enslaved. They're not having black people's difficulties. So there's still things going on today to black people that were happening back in the day. So let me ask this question. How many how many people in other races that were enslaved, how many of them are still suffering from their slavery days? Because, matter of fact, we'd have to even go look into what was happening to them in slavery. We don't even know, but we damn sure know what was happening to black people, as evidenced by you still find a black person or two hanging from a tree in this day and age. Right? You still find black people being unalived at the hands of non-black people, right? So how many people in other races can say that the things that happened to them during their slavery days are still happening as of today? Because when I look at a Filipino person, I can't say, oh, your people were enslaved. Even though if you know your history, you can say that. But at the end of the day, when they all want to come together, they all look the same. The white people that were enslaved, when they all come together, they look the same. If Hispanic people were enslaved, okay, they all still look the same. But what black people are dealing with is something totally different because we are of so many different shades. So for this guy to say what he said, and we'll just listen to it again. To say what he said, I mean, it's ludicrous. It's ludicrous that something like this would even come out of a black person's mouth. But then again, I guess if we kind of look at the texture of his hair, it's really not nappy. So I would imagine that maybe he's mixed with a little something, but he just took after maybe the dark skinned side of his family. But let's listen to it again.
Slavery has been a universal institution for thousands of years. And what we're looking at is if slavery is something that happened to one race of people in one country, when in fact,
Okay, so it happened to a lot of people, but black people are still suffering as a result of it. How many of those other races of people that were enslaved are still suffering from their slave days? Yeah, I just really don't see it, right? And they don't, I can't say that they don't need reparations, but I can say that they aren't suffering financially the same way Black people are suffering. We can, I can honestly say that, and I haven't been all over the globe. I haven't been to Black states. I haven't been to Atlanta. I haven't been to Houston, Texas. I haven't been to Detroit. I haven't been down south, so I can't really speak to what's going on down there as far as Black people having some type of some type of control over their environment. But what I can say is that the places that I have been, the states that I have been, Black people weren't running anything. Black people did not have the same wealth as other people that were enslaved, right? Uh, Black people are still treated like dogs or like slaves till this day, but I can't say that about people of other races that were enslaved. So this is the difference. The difference is that we're suffering multiple disparities because of slavery. So at the end of the day, yes, people of other races may have been enslaved, but are they still suffering poverty from their slave days like Black people are? No, not at all. But anyway, I just wanted to give my take on that because whenever a Black person comes and says, "Oh, well, everybody, suffered some form of slavery, or there was slavery all over the world," and okay, well, tell me how their slavery is affecting them today. That's what I want to know because I don't hear them being referred to as girl, and I don't hear them being referred to as boy. I don't see them hanging from trees today. I don't see. I just I don't see any of that. Right. So, like I said, we're still suffering the things today that we suffered yesterday. So uh how can this man sit here and downplay the slavery that Black people went through? I don't even remember learning in school that Filipino people were colonized by the Spaniards. I don't even remember learning that in history. All I remember learning is about Christopher Columbus and Black people in slavery. I didn't learn about no other races in slavery. So, which means that slavery for Black people had a greater impact on our current state, our past, our future, our present, or whatever time you want to put us in. It had a greater impact than it did for everybody else of every other race because they're on top and we're on the bottom. So that was just my take on that. So let me get into this other video that I saw on on YouTube. Uh, let me see which one I want to play first. Is this it right here? Okay, here we go. Let me share my screen so that we can see it. Ay, ay, ay. Which one is it? This one. Yeah, it's this one. Okay, here we go.
What do you call it when colorism happens to light skinned people?
The question of what to call it when light skinned folk experience colorism has been long contested, long debated, but let me lay that to rest. But first, let me rewind. Hey, Sunshine. I'm Dr. Donna Oriowo, sex and relationship therapist in the Washington, D.C. area, helping Black women feel free, fabulous, and effed. That effed, as you know, is for the algorithm. And the thing is, part of my specialty as a therapist is in how colorism and texturism impact mental and sexual health and esteem. So, to answer this question, I call it color based prejudice. I do not call it colorism, and I don't call it colorism because the ism implies the system. And there are no systems in place to discriminate against light skinned somebodies.
Now, this, I mean, she's not clear on what type of light skin she's talking about, but I'm just gonna assume, maybe make an ass out of myself, which is okay. We all do that sometimes. But I'm just going to assume for a minute that she is referring to light skinned black women, right? And if she is referring to light skinned black women, then what just came out of her mouth has to be the dumbest thing I've heard since that Thomas Sowell video, right? And I just heard what she said today. Now, when she says there is no whatever she said for light skinned people, that's hogwash because, from my understanding and from my perspective and viewpoint, black is black. Okay. So let's take dark skinned women out of the equation for a minute. And let's just say we only have light skinned black people, right? Let's take for a moment the fact that light skinned people were enslaved and not dark skinned people. So we got this light skinned race of people that were enslaved, right? And fast forward to today, um, who would be defined as black? It would be the light skinned people. And for the life of me, I cannot understand why dark skinned women think that there is a separation between being black. Like, how do you separate a light skinned dark black woman from a dark skinned black woman, and imagine or think that the discrimination, the disparities, and all those things that happen to dark skinned black women aren't happening to light skinned black women. How do you make that separation? Because I don't see it. If we, like I said, let me go back to my light skin point. If there were no dark skinned people and dark skinned black people, and there was light skinned black people who were representing the black community as a whole by themselves, don't you think that the same discrimination that is happening today to dark skinned black women, don't you think that it would be happening to the light skinned black people if it was only them? So, how can you separate a dark skinned black woman from a light skinned black woman? When it comes down to it, you're black, you're not white, you're not Filipino, you're not Hispanic, you're still black, even though you're light skinned, you're still going to get treated the same exact way until people of other races feel like they need to use your color to separate you, right? And so this is what has happened to the black community. Our different shades of black has been pitted against one another to cause that separation. Now, I know I don't have to go over this Willie Lynch letter again that I went over. You pit the light skin against the dark skin. You pit the old against the young. You pit the tall against the short. You pit the fat against the skinny. But it all boils down to one thing: tactics of separation. So it behooves me to find, even though this video is from a year ago is not that far away, it behooves me that we still have Black people who fix their mouths to say that there is a difference between the way a light skinned person is treated and the way a dark skinned person is treated. Because if a light skinned person walks into a room full of white people, she's still going to be considered Black. If a light skinned Black woman walks into a room full of Hispanics, she is still going to be considered Black and she's still going to be treated like she's Black, right? If a woman, light skinned Black woman walks into a room full of Filipinos, full of Chinese women, full of Japanese women, she is still going to be considered Black and she is going to be treated like she's Black, irregardless of how dark or light her skin is. So how can Black women of today still be fixing their lips to think that there is a difference in dark skin and light skinned women? Well, I know how, because you don't live inside of a light skinned woman's skin. So therefore, you're only assuming and you're only imagining. You have no real facts. You can't say it because you can't definitively say that there's a difference because you're not in a light-skinned woman's skin. So like I said, when we as light-skinned women walk into a room full of people of other races, we are Black, ma'am, and we still get treated as such. Light skinned women still get treated as if they were a dark skinned woman. There's no difference with people of other races. We could be pale light, we can be caramel, we can be you know, brown skin, we can be dark skin, we can be purple blue. We're considered one race of people, Black, and we are treated as such. And the only time that there is or appears to be a difference is when they want to cause separation in the different skin shades of Black people. So let's let that sink in. For some god awful reason, dark skinned women think that light skinned women are just having a jolly fucking time out here in this world full of racism towards Black people. Okay. Dark skinned people might feel it more because of their own inner conflicts about being the color that they are, because they're walking around and they're seeing all these many different races of people that basically share the same skin tone but are different races, so they're feeling as if, hey, it's just us, we're all out here in this world alone, us dark skinned, women. No, light skinned women are still suffering the same thing as dark skinned women. So how in this day and age can you make the separation? They're all in fear that if a Black person gets on top, she's going to help another Black person, and then that person is going to help another Black person, and then that person is going to help, and then we're all going to pull each other up, and we're all going to have two legs to stand on and be just as powerful as everybody else of every other race. The way our power is kept from us is by keeping us divided, right? And then I'm talking about the women. I'm not even talking about Black men. and how they keep black men separated from black women. Right? That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day that requires me to do a whole thing of research as my proof. But y'all know what I'm talking about anyway. Let's continue.
There are systems in place to denigrate and harm dark skinned somebodies. And you can tell because it's a worldwide phenomena where
Well,
even health
well
outcomes
see, when she when she says she is saying that there's a difference between dark skinned women, dark skinned black women, and light skinned black women. Baby girl, we're all black. We're all dark skinned. We're all dark skinned. Like you don't see that. Like when I look at a dark skinned black woman and I look at a light skinned black woman, you know what I see? I see black women. I don't separate the two because we all are little shades of darkness and blackness, all fall under the same umbrella. So, how can you be fixing your lips to say that there's a difference? There is no difference. If there were no dark skinned black people to discriminate against, you know who they would be discriminating against? It would still be black people. It would still be the light skinned black people if we were the only representation of black people. If our skin was just light, we're still black. So we still get the same treatment. There is no separation here, ma'am. Like I said, the reason dark skinned women feel it the most is because of inner conflict, inner self conflict. You have a problem with yourself. You have a problem with looking at other people that don't look like you. I don't have a problem with it. So, this is how this is how no, I'm not going to go there. Anyway, let's go. Let's finish.
look different for dark skinned black women, where housing, income, all areas of life are actually impacted by the skin tone that you have. So it is not just enough to only be black. It's also about how that blackness appears to the outside world. So when we're talking about this, I need us to remember that the reverse doesn't exist in the same way that for sexism or for racism, that there is no reverse, right? Because there is no power in being a woman. There is no power in being
Well, see, I beg to differ, ma'am. I really beg to differ that there's no power in being a woman. So if you're saying that there's no power in being a woman, then what you're saying is that women's rights is only a grab for power. So my body, my choice is a grab for power. You don't really mean it. It's just a way for you to get power. So when you say, "Oh, men make more money than women, equal rights for women," you don't really mean that. It's just a power grab, right? If you don't feel like you have God given power as a woman, then something is wrong with you, right? You need power for everything, as evidenced by gas, electricity, internet, extension cords, food, right? Everything on this earth is power. And then some things on this earth gives you power, right? Oil gives us power. Oil is power that also gives us power, right? Paper is power. Paper and pens and pencils and markers and different things of that nature, crayons, those are powerful tools. They're tools that give us power. We are able to express ourselves on a piece of paper using a writing utensil. That's power. So, how can you fix your lips to say that as a woman you have no power? I have as much power as I want, and I can get more if I wanted it, right? But then I would just be greedy, taking power that I don't need. So there's something wrong with you as a woman if you feel that you're powerless. I just don't understand it. Like, you have the power to say no, you have the power to keep your legs closed, you have the power to open them, you have power to look the way you want to look, you have power to learn, you have power to take care of your children, you have the power to birth children, you have the power to carry children, you have the power to walk down the street. What kind of power don't women have, ma'am, that you're in search of? Because women have a lot of power. Men have power. We have our own, if you want to put it in men and women perspectives, God gave us both power. So what kind of power don't you have, ma'am, that that's causing you to think in such a manner? The fact of the matter is that you have power, you just don't know how to use it. It's being hidden from you. It's being I can't even say taken from you. I have to say you're being tricked into not using it, right? Hence the Willie Lynch letter. The Willie Lynch letter is a tool that's used, or that was used and is still used till this day, to trick people out of their power, to trick particularly black people out of their power, right? So let me see if I could make an example. If I can give you an example. Let me see. Look at it like this. I don't know if it was if it's the Transformers. I don't know what cartoon that is, to where I think it is. Is it the Transformers? I don't know. Shit. Who is it? Well, anyway, imagine we'll take the Transformers as an example. Imagine Optimus Prime, right? Imagine Optimus Prime as, he's in his, I don't know, I would say his human shape and not the shape of a car. Imagine Optimus Prime standing alone, but then imagine some other Autobots connecting themselves to Optimus Prime. Wouldn't that make Optimus Prime more powerful than standing alone if more of the Autobots came and connected themselves to him? What if Optimus Prime by himself in truck form was just a truck, but then the other cars started attaching themselves to one another behind him? Wouldn't that make him extra, 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 extra powerful? But standing alone, he's powerful. But when the Autobots come together and connect with him, he's even more powerful, right? And then imagine uh, the Decepticons coming into the picture and seeing that. See you later, babe. And seeing that how powerful Optimus Prime is together with all the rest of the Autobots connected to him. And then so the Decepticons come and they start pulling and tugging and cutting and shooting all the Autobots off of Optimus Prime. Why? To take away his power. So that's what a form of the Willie Lynch letter is. It is to keep black people separated and fighting because, oh, you're light, you're dark, you're short, you're tall, you're fat, you're skinny, you get more attention than me. It's bullshit. If black people stop this foolishness about skin tone and came together in love, do you not know what black people could accomplish? But we got silly people like this, and you call your and she calls herself a therapist. No, no ma'am, no ma'am, no ma'am. But anyway, I digress.
being black or of color, right? The power lies with white people just as the power lies with men. And the power also
No, see, the power lies with white people because, and it's not just with white people. The power, people of all other races are using their power. They come together and they use their power. Black people, for some reason, we think that we're powerful on an individual level, which is stupid. It's stupid. If a person of another race walked into a room full of black people, right? How do you think that person would be treated? They would be shit. They get the first piece of barbecue chicken, the first piece of ribs. They get to pick whether they wanted some greens, some spinach, or if they wanted some cornbread versus a roll. They would get they would get, I mean, arms thrown around them. They would get treated like special, right? They would be included and, oh, come and sit over here, girl. Talk to us. How you doing? Uh-huh. So what brings you to this part of the neighborhood? Oh, really? Girl, that's a shame. You know them people should have did you like that. Well, you go ahead and you sit yourself down here and you have yourself a good time and you don't worry about none of them. You over here with us and you safe now. That's how they will be treated. If it's if you reverse the roles or you flip it, oh my God, you be walking in, you'll walk in there wondering if you're gonna get out of that fucker alive. So when black people come together, it's powerful love that's there. It's powerful acceptance that's there. It's there's so much love power when black people come together. But we can't do that because we're constantly talking about dark skin versus light skin, not realizing, dumbass, that we're all black and we're all being treated the same freaking way, no matter what your eyes is telling you. And it's not even your eyes that's telling you that. It's the inner conflict you have within yourself about your skin color that's preventing you from seeing that dark skin and light skin and brown skin and caramel skin is all under the same umbrella and we're all being treated the same way. Now, what I will say is that a light skinned person that has a white mother is given more privilege, right? Drake. Who else got a white? I know a few people that got some white mothers, and they're included because of the race of their mother. So you must be talking about them girls because you can't be talking about a girl like me. I just wanted to see if I could clarify that. Light skinned women who have white mothers, they are given more privilege and treated differently and included because of who their mother is. So you must be talking about them because you're not talking about these us nappy headed uh light skinned black women. You can't be talking about us. But anyway, let's continue.
So too lies with light skinned folk. Now, I know that for some people, they're like, well, I don't understand how that could be. I don't feel like I have no power because I'm still black. Well, I'm gonna give it to you the same way that I seen it earlier on Facebook or something like that. But the privileges that you have is not about what you get always, but it is about what you don't have to deal with. And light skinned folks simply do not have to deal with their skin tone being the hindrance.
So see, you can't say that, ma'am, because you're not light skinned. You can't say that. How dare you try to sit here and say, like I said, she must be talking about the light skinned women with the white mamas. She gotta be. Or the light skinned women with the white daddies. Right? Cause she can't be talking about us light skinned nappy head women. She can't be talking about us. Nah, she can't be talking about us. But anyway, for fuck's sake, let's say she is. You're not a light skinned white woman. I mean a light skinned black woman. So therefore you can't say that we don't suffer in the same manner that you suffer because at the end of the day we're black, ma'am. So it doesn't matter. As a light skinned black woman, you move into an all white neighborhood and then you invite your black mama, your dark skinned mama, and your light skinned daddy, and they find out that neither of your parents is full bred white, ma'am, they're gonna want you out the neighborhood. Okay, you gonna have some problems because you don't have a white mama or a white daddy to speak on your behalf or to give a reason, a genetic reason as to why you in this neighborhood, ma'am. So I don't understand. Like I mean, you're a therapist. Like like what did you study? Because it can't be history, right? And I got another video where this other black girl she addresses some things I wanted to touch upon, like how when black women used to be on television passing for white. But anyway, let's finish with her.
For them being able to make it to where they want to go to. It's simply not the obstacle. Now, a lot of people will say that it's still called colorism, but those people would be wrong. And clearly they didn't study that. And that's okay because we don't know what we don't know until we know. This is your moment to know. It doesn't mean that it hurts less. It doesn't mean that your experience is invalid. But what it does mean is that it does not exist in reverse. That is something that I need us to know. So, colorism happens to dark skinned people, color based prejudice happens to light skinned folk.
Y'all know what I did. You know what I did. Let me stop sharing this. You know what I did because I was like, huh. She said colorism happens to dark skinned black women and color based prejudice happens to light skinned black women. She didn't necessarily say black women, but that's why I'm kind of unclear as to who she's talking about. But like I said, for fuck's sake, we're gonna say light skinned black women. So what I did was I took the liberty of looking up exactly what she meant. And so let me share my screen really quick so I can dig into it. So on Google, hold on, let me make sure I'm hitting on the right thing. So I went and Googled what she said, right? And let me find it. No, I don't want that one. Okay, here they go. Here they go, right here. All right, so I went on Google and I looked up, the the colorism and the color-based prejudice, and I wanted to see. I was like, there's this difference. I was like, what the hell? So anyway, when I looked up the meaning of color-based prejudice, I looked at it first, because she's talking about light-skinned folks. It said, let me see if that's the right one. Let me see if that's the right one. Okay, no, that's not the right one. Okay, this is the one I wanted to share. Let me make sure y'all can see it. Okay, perfect. So this one, it said colorism. Now she said dark skinned black women suffer from colorism, and light skinned black women suffer from color based prejudice. So when I looked up colorism, the definition, it said prejudice, underlined, prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group, right? So then when I looked up, let me see if I can share this one. Discrimination, it said discrimination based on skin tone, also known as colorism or shadeism, is a form of prejudice and discrimination in which people of certain ethnic groups or people who are perceived as belonging to a different skin racial group are treated differently based on their different skin tone. Right? Now, what she said made sense, but like my question is that if there were no dark skinned people to represent the black race, and it was light skinned people that were the black ones, or the only ones to represent the black race, what would you call it then? I mean, would you have to be like one skin shade darker than than the average light skinned black person to say they're discriminated against the worst because they're darker than the light skinned person? See, what I'm having a hard time understanding is that this is what I'm having a hard time understanding. How dark skinned black women perceive a difference in light skinned black women, and the way they're treated when they're both black and they're both darker than all the other races, excluding the dark people in the dark skin race, other races. But at the end of the day, let's take we're gonna I like Phil I love my Filipino people, and those are the ones that I'm pretty much around the most. So I have a few darker skin Filipino um, acquaintances, and they say they're discriminated in their culture because of their darker skin, right? But at the end of the day, when it's time to come together for a cause or a goal, they don't see that color, right? They really don't. Like, if a dark-skinned Filipino came to town and it's all light-skinned Filipinos, they're not going to discriminate against her because she's still Filipino, right? she's still full Filipino. Like, I mean, I don't get it. Like, yes, there's a difference. I'm in no shape, form, or fashion saying that there's not a difference, because you would be deceiving your eyes if you want to say, oh, you know, I don't see color. Well, yeah, I see color. I see a green crayon, a red crayon, a black crayon, a blue crayon. It's just different colors. It is what it is. But at the same at the same token, what happens with them different color crayons? They're all put in the same box. Now you can buy a box of all green crayons, or you can buy a box of all blue crayons, right? But you would really have to search high and low for that, because typically you have all the different colors of the crayons where in one box. Why? Because they're all crayons. That would be crayons, like crayons saying, "Oh, the blue crayon is treated worse than the yellow crayon." Like, that's the dumbest shit. You're both crayons. You're gonna get treated the same. You're gonna get used in for your color. Both the blue crayon and both the yellow crayon serve the same purpose. So, what would be the different purpose for a dark skinned black woman and a light skinned black woman? Like, like what would be the difference in usage? What would be the difference in treatment? Like, I don't get it, right? I just don't get it. And I would just have to keep going back to the fact that the dark skinned black woman and the light skinned black woman are what? Black women. And it's funny because, and I hate to say this, but sometimes black women can be so stupid. I mean, that's just stupid. In this day and age, when unity is required, all you can have a discussion about is separation. Now, I could see if you were bringing something to light to say, hey, we need to stop this. This is how this is affecting us, right? And try to bring some unity out the situation. But that's not what this woman is doing. She is simply trying to say that she's trying to say that uh black women, dark skinned black women get treated some type of way because they're dark skinned black women, and light skinned black women get treated some type of way because they're light skinned black women, and we just gonna leave it at that. No, I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying that there isn't a difference in treatment sometimes, but the only time that treatment is there is when is when people are wanting to cause division. Other times, the majority of the time, you're a nigga. It don't matter what shade of black you are. So when you start learning to see that, when you start learning to see that you're not being treated a certain way because you're dark skinned. No, you're being treated a certain way because your dark skinnedness has been put in the forefront to cause division with the other skin tones of the race. So it's ironic that today in this day and age, we're still thinking the same way we thought back when Spike Lee did his movie. Matter of fact, yeah, I was reading this article that had mentioned Spike Lee's School Days movie in it, to where you had the jigaboos and the wannabes, right? You had the dark skinned women with the coarse hair, and then you had the light skinned women either with the good hair or the weaves and the colored eyes and the really 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 bright skin, right? That was Spike Lee trying to bring to our attention that at the end of the day, baby girl, we all black. And we the only ones out here acting like fools. We the only ones out here acting stupid. Because truth be told, there are different shades. There's really different shades of people in all races. You got some white women that are darker than the other women. You got some Filipinos that are darker than the rest of the Filipinos. You got some Hispanics that are darker than the other Hispanics, right? A dark skinned Hispanic person will tell you we are discriminated against by other Hispanic people, but when it's time to come together, they don't see no color. Like if that dark skinned Hispanic man needed a damn job, he gonna get it from his people. He gonna be acclimated and included and accepted 100%, because they recognize strength in number and strength in culture, strength in race. So this is why black people are so behind, have fallen behind, and will probably stay behind, because we too busy up off in other people's business instead of taking care of the needed business that we need to be taken care of. I don't have time to be worried about what Jessica and Melissa is doing. I don't have time to worry about, you know, what these people of other races are doing, because it's business that I need to be taken care of. And so once we realize that and stop with this causing, carrying out the Willie Lynch letter on our own, and Willie Lynch ain't no fucking where to be found. But anyway, I digress. So let me go to this other video. What it say? Simple as that. They don't like to deal with the source of colorism, the so-called white man, because a lot of dark-skinned black women still want to marry the so-called white man. Nobody complains about these beautiful dark-skinned Barbie doll looking women that married rich white men, but they got a problem with light-skinned black women. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to dating and relationships, I have a different view of that. I do believe you I do believe you love who you love, right? And hear me out, hear me out. I do believe you love who you love. You have a type, whether it be black and white, Filipino and black, Hispanic and black, Hispanic and white, Hispanic and Filipino. You got your type, but here's the thing. Here's the point that I'm trying to make. If it came down to say for example, I'm gonna just use Filipinos, because I love them, and I don't know, I just, I don't know, they just keep popping up in my head. Say for example, the Filipino race started to die off, and they're like, oh my god, you know, our numbers are dwindling, and oh my god, we got to fix that. Oh my god, we can't let that happen because we don't want our purebred Filipino race to become extinct or go away. You know what they will have the sense to do? We're not we I love you, black woman, Hispanic man, white man, but at this point in time, I have to do what I have to do to increase the numbers. And that means that I need to go find me a Filipino woman so that we could have a pure Filipino child so that we can, you know, start building our Filipino race again. They will, these people of other races will use that type of restraint. God damn, that black woman is beautiful. Barbie doll looking, sexy. Just she got everything that I want. But he gonna say, you know what? I'm sorry. I probably have to see you next lifetime. I got to go find me a Filipino woman so that I could keep my race going. Right? So, like I said, when it for me when it comes to interracial relationships, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother story. You love who you love, but what I'm trying the simple point that I'm trying to make is that that's not what happens in the black community. We don't say, hey, I we got some things we need to build on and fix in the black community. And right now, me soul searching for different things outside of my race, I just can't do that right now. I'm gonna have to see you next lifetime. We don't do that. We don't give a damn. Be like, oh, them niggas over there is fucked up. But anyway, hi baby girl, how you doing? Hey, you doing? Right? This is what black people are not doing. We're not turning around and looking at our race and saying, God damn, what the hell happened over here? Oh my shit. We got to do something to fix this. Okay, close the gate and let's don't let nobody in. We got to fix this. We don't do that. We run from black problems, we create black problems, we carry on the Willie Lynch letter to each other. It doesn't even have to come from outside of anywhere. The white man ain't got to say, oh, well, look at her. She's darker than you. Or look at her. She's lighter than you. You know, uh, if he wants to, he can come in and say, okay, we're gonna hire only dark skinned women and we're not gonna hire light skinned women. That's only because they see that we're coming together and we're starting to fix some issues and things in our black community, and that means we're going to be stronger, we're going to grow, we're going to thrive, we're going to become independent of other races. They'll be, oh hell no, we can't have that. So we're gonna give all the dark skinned women jobs, and we're gonna not give them to the light skinned women, or we're gonna give all the light skinned women jobs, and we're not gonna give the dark skinned women jobs. Now this is the thing though. You know, the saying goes, you're only as strong as your strongest as your what's that? You're only as strong as your weakest link. I beg to differ. You're only as strong as your strongest link. So, what's the use in taking down some weak links, right? What's the use in taking down some weak links when you can put five weak links together and you still gonna get weak links? It's the strong links that you want to take down because you can put a strong link, a strong link, a strong link, a strong link, and what you're gonna get? You're gonna get a strong link. Me personally, black women, dark skinned black women, are very, 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 very strong links. And I'm not saying that light skinned black women are weaklings. That's not what I'm saying at all. But black women, dark skinned black women, dominate the black race, which makes them the strongest link because at the end of the day, they are the full representation of black women, the dark skinned women, right? So, therefore, you want to call them ugly. You want to destroy their self-esteem. You want to tell them their hair is snappy and their nose is big and they got big lips, and you know what I'm saying, back in the day it was, oh, making fun of black women's derrieres because they were large and different things of that nature, right? You want to take down your strong links. Like I said, not to say that light skinned women are weak links, because we in no shape, form, or fashion are weak links. We are just overlooked, misunderstood, and we are a force to be reckoned with, because when we look women of other races in the face, when they want to tell us that black women aren't beautiful, and then they look our beautiful selves in the face, you want to say, oh, you're a goddamn lie, right? I can say that dark skinned women and light skinned women both serve a purpose individually, but if you put them two together, oh my God. Oh my God. Black women will be a force to be reckoned with. You need to stop all this. Oh, she thinks she's all that because she's light skinned. And usually that's usually how it goes, though. You know, that's usually how it goes. For me, when I see a black woman, I'm thinking like, God damn, she is fucking gorgeous. Look at that skin. Like, oh my God, there's just, because let me tell you, I got black sisters, I got dark skinned sisters, and I have a dark skinned daughter. And I be looking at my daughter like, you're so beautiful. I tell her almost every single day, every single chance that I get, you are so beautiful. And I'm telling the honest to God truth, like, oh my God. And even my sisters, I be looking at my sisters like, you guys are beautiful, right? But then okay, of course I got to go in the mirror and I got to be like, girl, you beautiful too, even though you beautiful too, right? But the fact of the matter is that I can understand what we, as light skinned women, we can see what dark skinned women have went through. But here's the kicker, and I just keep saying, the only reason that anybody of any other race would have an opinion about a black woman's features, whether she's light skinned or dark skinned, would be to freaking cause division, so that unity is kept from being there. What the fuck does a white woman give a damn about a black woman for? Well, what the fuck does she care? That she's dark skinned, her lips are big and her nose is big. What the fuck does that put money in her pocket? Does that get her a little extra dick from her husband? You know what I'm saying? Does that put a fucking steak in her pan to cook for her family? Fuck no. So then you have to ask yourself the question: why the fuck is this bitch over here? Excuse me. Why the fuck is this lady over here talking about my hair and my nose and my lips and my butt and my shape and my what why? Like, how does it benefit her to do that or say that about me? Because it's a tactic to keep black women low self-esteem, inner self conflict, right? Conflict with light skinned women. Oh my God, I'm dark skinned, they don't think I'm beautiful. But they think that light skinned woman is beautiful, and they praise her and they compliment her and they this and they that and they that and the other thing. It's designed to cause division. And I'm like, oh my God, this is 2024. Are you guys still asleep? Are you still asleep? Like there's some butt ugly women in every doggone race. Give me a break. But why do you think black women, light skin and dark skin, why do you think we don't focus on somebody else's feature? We're more focused on our own features. Why is that? Because a white woman's beauty, a Filipino woman's beauty, a Japanese woman's beauty, a Hispanic woman's beauty don't do a goddamn thing at the end of the day for me getting some dick, some food, some money, some whatever. Her beauty ain't got shit to do with what's going on in my household. So why would I make time for that when I got shit that I need to be focusing in over here? I need to be focusing on what I need to be doing and what's going on in my house and the things that I need to be taking care of. And you know why it's like that? Because black women, we don't do things to cause division in other races. We don't do that. When can you name me one instance where a black woman has tried to divide white women? And then where the fuck would you even start? Oh, her hair, she's a natural blonde and you're a brunette and you're a redhead. She have green eyes, you got blue eyes, she got hazel eyes. Like where the fuck would you even begin in trying to separate these women of a and how would it benefit you again? It wouldn't. That's why we don't waste our time trying to do it. So one would fix their thoughts to say, well, why the fuck do they do it to us? Why? Because it's not putting no money in their pockets. Like I said, it's not getting them no extra quality time with a man. So why? It's to keep division in the black race. And y'all be falling for it every year. Y'all fall for it every single year. Okay, let me go to this other this other video. Okay. So this one was, are dark skinned women excluding light skinned women from the black community? And when I watched some of this, I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but I did get to watch enough to where I was like, okay, yeah, I want to do some commentary on this because this woman, she got a listening problem. She didn't put on her listening ears. And I just want to bring it to her attention of what this lady is really saying, what this light skinned lady is really saying. Okay, it's there. So anyway, let's take a listen.
This video, I look good. Like, oh my God, y'all. What? Oh my God, I'm getting sidetracked, but sheesh. Okay, so I made this video about the Black Girl Follow Train, and I'll put the link to that up here. Y'all can click it and go and watch it. But I'll give y'all a brief summary really quickly so that you know what's going on as you go into this video, right? So basically this was created so that black women could follow other black women and help each other build our pages, because you'll notice that black women have a much harder time being content creators on any platform than white women do. That's just
Well, my dear girl, why would you one would ask themselves the question, why do you think that is? Because there's no unity among black women. Like I said, I'm not even including the men in this. I'm not even including the men in this. And this is why you had to do a whole TikTok movement of black women to support black women because there's no unity. That should be fucking automatic. Anytime you see a black woman on any type of social media platform, you should just subscribe to her shit just because she's black. Yes, I said it. Yes, I said it because that is what people of other races do. You ain't got to listen to the damn channel. You might not even agree with what the doggone person is saying. You might despise what she's saying. So fucking what? Subscribe anyway, and you don't have to listen. That's what you call unity. That's what you call building each other up. That's what you call togetherness. That's what you call, even though I don't like what's coming out your mouth, I'm still going to support you just because you black. You don't think that's what other races of people do? And then they go above and beyond. They'll get your ass fired from your job so that they can hire some one of their people that's in need. They go above and beyond. And we can't even fucking subscribe to each other's channels? Ma'am, really? I get it, right? I get it. But here's the thing with me. I would do that. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Right? So I'm not going to be, I'm always raising my hand first to do something or to participate. I'm not going to do it. I will not, because there's greater things. I know, start small, but there's other more small important things that we can be focused on than, you know, subscribing to each other's channels. We need to take it off the social media platform, come together in these other more important small areas, and then, we could talk about the social media platforms. But anyway, that's just the way I think.
The reality of the situation. That's something that I noticed on YouTube as well. There was this whole thing on TikTok with a dance called the Renegade. Now, this renegade dance was created by a black woman and stolen by a white woman. This white woman stole the dance. She did it terribly. Mind you, she didn't even do a good job. It is. She literally blew up from it. She got invited to go on some late night show or something. She was on TV for this dance that she did not even create. And, she probably got brand deals and a whole bunch of other stuff. But the black woman who actually made the dance and did it better, like, she got nothing, right? So this is why black women created this black woman follow train, and apparently it's been ruffling some.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing with that. Why does something have to be done to you for black people to come together? I mean, fuck. Why does a person of another race have to do something to a black person for black people to come together? Like, do you not see the idiocy in that? Do you not see how idiotic that is? So you mean to tell me the only time and as a matter of factly, that is the only time black people stand together when something has been done to a black person that they think, oh, it wasn't right. But on any other day, we don't know each other. We don't want to communicate with each other. We don't want to talk to each other. We don't speak in passing. We don't strike up conversations and do sharing. We don't do none of that. It takes somebody doing something to a black person for us to come together, and that's just stupid. That's dumb. That's dumb. You know why? Because after the smoke clears and the situation dies down, and as the months go by, and as the years go by, the black people dwindle apart again. So what is that telling you? It's telling you that coming together because something has been done to a black person, it's not the tool that is needed to bring black people together. It's a tool that only, it's like having uh it's like having a screwdriver that you can only use once, and after you use it, it kind of melts away and you can't use it anymore and you got to go get another one, right? That's what these little situations are in the black community when black people come together because something has been done to another black person. It dwindles away, we forget about it, we put it in our history thoughts and things of that nature, and we may discuss it every now and again, but after it dies down and we done forgot about it, and we get distracted by some other BS, we eventually dwindle away, and that was just one tool, that was used to bring black people together, but we could only use it that one time and we can't use it anymore. So now we got to wait till another situation happens to a black person for us to come together. So we have basically turned ourselves into the only time that we're going to come together is when something happens to a black person. But as far as coming together to build something substantial and to build something long lasting, we won't do that. We won't we won't do that, right? Which makes it stupid. And other races are looking at us. They're like, look at that. The only time they come together is when something happens to one of them. How stupid. But any other time, they fighting amongst each other. So what does that tell you? Stop doing shit to black people and they won't come together. Yeah, that's exactly what that tells you. So if you stop, you know, doing whatever it is that brings black people together, they won't come together. Yeah.
Feathers. So let me show you all what one woman had to say about the entire shebang.
All right, I know this gonna ruffle some feathers, but I don't care because I love the flaming hot barbecue count with some ranch and some salsa. So let's dip this chip and get on into it, shall we? I know I can't be the only lightly melanated woman that feels as though that the darker melanated women cast us out a lot. Not all, but many. But then we're told that we have pretty girl or light skin syndrome because we're light skinned. I know y'all seen a bunch of videos surfacing around the web when they're promoting black excellence, black beauty, black goddesses, all that great shit, right? Because it's great. But how often do you see a melanated woman that looks like me or close to it in those videos, in those memes, in those pictures when you Google black goddesses and they pop up all the black goddesses? Yeah, not too many, not too often. I recently saw a video where there was a parade of black women marching and they were saying, I love being black, as they should, because I do. And I watched that video a few times and not once did I see a black woman that looked like me. And I've seen many videos like this. We talk about racism a lot, but we're racist against our own race without even noticing it. And where did that stem from?
So this woman complains that a lot of times she feels cast out from the black community because she is a lighter skinned woman, right? This is something that I would like to discuss. Chip and get started. What? Like that had to be the corniest thing I've heard at least in the past like week and a half. Like that just made me evaluate myself because now I'm like, do I be saying corny shit like this thinking that I sound, like witty or cool or something? Like she got me like kind of feeling insecure about myself because I'm like, am I walking around sounding this fucking corny, thinking that I'm doing something? Let's dip this chip, my dog, diggity. Like, girl, you should like BMFR. You should have cropped that out of the video. That was just a overall 0 out of 10 introduction. But let's get into the actual nitty gritty of what she is saying. The first thing.
Okay, so first of all, this reminds me of that Genuine song. Uh, I'm crying out. I'm crying out. Let me see if I can look this song up. I'm not gonna play it because I always they always send me a copyright deal. This video cannot be monetized because it has music in here. Uh Let me see. Hold on. This is what this song reminds me about. And I know this chick is young. She did say that she was only 26. So her brain has just now fully developed, but she going to need the whole year of 26 to really pull it all together and to realize that her brain is fully grown. Then she gonna need, all of 27, to really solidify the fact that her brain is grown. And and it's still gonna take her a minute, you know what I'm saying, to um to get it together. So let me see if I can get this with lyrics. And I used to like this song too. I don't think they're gonna give it with lyrics. But anyway, he says, "I'm crying out. What did I do to deserve this pain? I'm crying out." Different things of that nature. This is what I hear this light skinned woman doing. She's crying out, and she wasn't offensive in anything that she said. What I hear is I hear her crying out. What I hear is I hear her noticing the fact that, hey, I'm black. I'm just a lighter shade of black. And, hey, what about us? What about us? Like, why can't we be included in the black struggle when we're black? Like, oh, okay, right? So that's what I heard. First of all, first and foremost, that's what I heard because I can relate to her, being the shade of caramel that I am. I can really relate to her and I understand what she's saying. But this young lady right here, she took it as, because of how she feels about light skinned women and how she feels light skinned women pretty privileged and different things that we fucking don't have, right? When it comes to getting some dick, we might got some pretty privilege. That's it. But then after the person done use our pretty privilege, we're thrown to the side just like everybody else. So when you talk about pretty privilege, how long does that pretty privilege last? About 10 minutes. So I mean, and really, when it comes to light skinned black women, I would ask the question, what the fuck is what does pretty privilege get you as a light skinned black woman being pretty? Like, I mean, a man. Well, let me try to take him to the rental office and pay my fucking rent with him. What is it? What's the benefit that? What is this grand benefit that light skinned women are getting from what other people define as pretty privilege? Like, what the fuck is what is a light skin? What is she really getting? Attention, DNA, dick and attention. Like, what the? Can't be mad about that. So I mean, what is the real privilege that a light skinned black woman is really getting? Hmm.
Thing she says is that a lot of light skinned women feel casted out of the community by darker skinned women. And she says, but then you all will tell us that we have light skin privilege or pretty privilege. So light skin privilege and pretty privilege both exist, but yo ugly ass only got one of them. Let's BFFR. I don't know if this is a miscommunication.
Now see, how she just see that insult that she threw. Like the light skinned chick didn't say, "Oh, why is these dark skinned ugly women? Why do they get to represent the black community?" That's not what she said. So where's the hate coming from? Where's the negativity coming from? So look at it like this. Look at it like this. Light skinned women, we are discriminated against because of our light skin. So we're not dark enough for dark skinned black women to accept us, but yet we're not white enough for women of other races to accept us. So we're just kind of stuck in the middle on the defense. Because as I remember growing up, my BFF was dark skinned. I had a dark skinned BFF coming up, and I loved that girl, and we loved each other, and we were like inseparable. I took a ass whooping for her. Truth be told, I took a ass whooping to be with her. So I mean, as children, you know, we really didn't have a whole lot of control over how we were identified. It was the adults that were over us and that were doing maybe the special attention thing because black people, dark skinned black people, they did and still do have this love for white people, or white skinned people, I should say. I'll say white skinned people, right? And so when there was a light skinned child in the vicinity or in the family, and they would do that special attention towards the light skinned one, and then ostracize the dark skinned one, or don't have nothing nice to say to. That was the adults that did that to us. We didn't do that. Like I said, when I was coming up, my BFF was dark skinned. So at the end of the day, look at her, look at her distasteful comments toward this light skinned woman who said nothing negative at all about a dark skinned woman's features, hair, body type, nose, lips, butt, none of that stuff. So where is the discrimination really which way is the discrimination really flowing? Right? Who's offense and who's defense? So who's really defending themselves? Whose self-esteem is really being torn down? When you really look at it. So when you say when these dark skinned black women fix their lips to say pretty privilege and light skin privilege, and and y'all get all the attention, and these are derogatory terms that are being used towards light skinned women. So who's really the one that's being torn down when light skinned women aren't the majority? We're actually the minority when it comes to being in the black race. So who's really being torn down and ostracized and made fun of and talked about so negatively? So when you had that Spike Lee movie, school days with the wannabes and the jigaboos. Were the jigaboos jealous of the wannabes? And that's why, all the shit would really start, because right now with between these between these two black women, who started it? The dark skinned woman did. Like I said, the light skinned chick didn't say anything negative towards black women. She just wanted to know, hey, where's my representation? But anyway, let's continue.
Maybe, maybe she was having two separate conversations, because I will say that a lot of times pretty privilege is rooted in Eurocentric standards of beauty the same way light skin privilege is. So maybe she was attempting to say,
See, you see that Eurocentric beauty. Eurocentric beauty. Now let's look at that for a minute. Eurocentric beauty. Okay. That's basically white woman, right? Ma'am, the last time I looked in the mirror, I didn't see a white woman. I see a black woman, right? It don't matter how blonde I dyed my hair, or what color blonde braids I put in my hair, or what color contact lenses I put in my hair, or how white I dress, uh how I do my make. It don't matter. None of that stuff matters, because when I look in the mirror, I don't see a white woman. I see a black woman. So when you talk about these, oh, we're close to Eurocentric people, ma'am, are we Eurocentric or are we black? It's the dark skin. Oh, she thinks she's white. Okay, well, we could say the same thing about a dark skinned black woman when she got her blonde hair in, and I'm talking about her platinum blonde and all that goddamn blue eyeshadow on her eyes, and that damn red lipstick and shit on. We could say you think you white too. You're trying to get close to being Eurocentric yourself, with the blonde hair that ain't really your natural hair color, and the blue eyeshadows, and dark skinned women be putting in blue contact lenses, hazel contact lenses, green contact lenses. What does that say? It says you're trying to be white. But just because you're not light skinned, when you put on your blonde hair and your blue contact lenses, does that mean you're not trying to be white just because your skin tone is not closer to white? No, it still means that you're trying to be white. But at the end of the day, you can be close to it, you can be around it, you can be on top of it, you can be at the bottom of it, you can be on the side of it. At the end of the day, we're not white, ma'am. So where's all the shade coming from? You know how they say close, but no cigar. Yeah. So it's not that we as light skinned women are trying to look Eurocentric. It's not that we as light skinned women are describing ourselves as close to Eurocentric. That's what dark skinned women are doing to us. It's being done to us. Light skinned women can't help it when they get dressed, when they put their makeup on, when they do their hair. They can't help being closer on the Eurocentric side than the dark skinned black side. That's not their fault. They didn't ask to be born. Oh God, please birth me and make me as close to white as you can. Please, God. Please. We didn't know what color we were gonna be when we came out. So why are dark skinned black women and why are other people blaming us for our skin tone? Just like we can't blame anybody for anything. Nobody asked to be here. Who, if you can tell me, if you can find a person that asked to be on this earth, I'll give you $1 million. You won't find one because nobody asked to be here. We didn't even know we was coming. So stop it. Just like I don't have time to criticize a white woman for the way she looks, or a Filipino woman for the way she looks, or a Japanese woman for the way. I ain't got time for that. You know why? Because them bras didn't ask to be here either. They didn't ask to be born into the white community. They didn't ask to be born into the Filipino community. Black people didn't even ask to be born in the black community. So what the fuck is the problem?
Oh, you all will say that it's more easy for me to have pretty privilege because I am light skinned or something. Maybe that's what she was trying to say, but it came out wrong. It came out as her saying that light skin is pretty or something. That's where I had to like kind of like side eye because I don't know the
No,
way it was
no,
communicated.
no, no, no. You should have listened to it a little bit better. So let's back it up and let's listen to it. Let's listen to her again.
Our barbecue can with some ranch and some salsa. So let's dip this chip and get on into it, shall we? I know I can't be the only lightly melanated woman that feels as though that the darker melanated women cast us out a lot. Not all, but many. But then we're told that we have pretty girl or light skin syndrome because we're light skinned.
So she said, we're told, okay? She said, we are told that we have pretty privilege or light skin privilege. Me personally, don't see it. I don't see it, right? And like I said, that is because it is given to us. Something was given to us that we didn't even ask for. It was created specifically for us because at first it was white privilege. And so now you attribute light skin privilege and pretty privilege to light skinned black women. Like, where'd that shit come from? It comes from dark skinned women seeing men having a preference for light skinned women. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if I've said this before, but I probably have. I have a Hispanic and black daughter, and then I have a full black daughter. Right? Of course, one has the Hispanic skin tone, and the other one has the dark black woman's skin tone. This is what I did raising my two different skin tone, different race daughters. I said to them, and I said this many times, many, many, many times, because it takes a lot of times when you're raising children. It takes a lot of time of you saying the same thing in order for them to get it. And sometimes it's like that when adults are learning new things as well. But anyway, with my two daughters, I would see them and I'd see them look at each other, and I'd see my dark skinned daughter look at my light skinned daughter, we'll just call her light skin. And then I would see my light skinned daughter look at my dark skinned daughter. And then, you know, I would pay close attention to their conversations about experiences that they would have at school. You know, my dark skinned daughter, she had plenty of dark skinned friends to hang around because she fit in. She was dark skinned. But then my Hispanic daughter, she really didn't have, she had friends. I'm not going to take that from her. She had friends. She had close friends. And because she was half black, half Hispanic, so she really didn't fit in all too well with the Hispanics. And then, of course, she didn't fit in with the black chicks, right? And so I learned that by listening to her and to them, right? So what I would tell them is I would say, hey, listen, you guys are two different colors and you're two different races. Because here's let me say this first. Here's the thing. When you're talking about young girls, what you're not talking about right now is you're not talking about education. You're not talking about a job for the future. What you're talking about with young girls is you're talking about body type, you're talking about hair type, you're talking about features, and most specifically and most importantly, you're talking about relationship, right? We didn't do that privilege in my house. Everybody is privileged. You get a birthday cake. You get a birthday cake. You get a birthday present. You get a birthday present. You get two steaks. You get two steaks. You get two pair of shoes. You get two pair of shoes. You get $200 worth of clothes. You get $200 worth of clothes. There was no I'm going to cater to this one or I'm going to cater to that one. Y'all both got the same damn privilege, right? So I never made them feel as if one of them was loved more or looked at more over the other one, right? Now, they're 2 years apart, so therefore, one of them was more advanced than the other one. One of them had, found herself, came into her beauty, but when they were kids, they didn't give a damn about nothing. They just wanted to play, be happy, do them. But of course, when they start getting into the higher levels of the school, you know, the oldest one, she started to recognize herself more. So therefore, she wanted to dabble and dip into things that would enhance her beauty. While the other one, she just really didn't give a damn. She was, so I'm gonna go out here and I'm just gonna do what it do. Okay. So there was a difference. I had one that liked to beautify herself, and then I had one that didn't care. So the one that didn't care, she's looking at the beautified, she's looking at her beautified sister. And I would tell her on many, 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 many occasions, baby girl, you have not come into yourself yet. Give yourself some time, right? The older one, she's she looks like this because she's coming to herself. Her thoughts are different now. You guys, as your thoughts have separated because the grade levels have separated. And then I think for a year or two, one was still in middle school, one was in high school. So of course the older one that was in high school, she came into herself because she's around the other girls that have come into themselves. Where the middle school one, the middle school girls, they just, doing them, they don't give a damn about makeup and different things of that nature. But then when the other one finally got to high school with her sister, you started to notice, oh, okay, she's coming into herself. So now there she go with the fancy attire and the makeup, and she's more in the mirror primping, and she's doing this thing. I said, see, I told you, once come into yourself, you're gonna be acting just like your older sister, right? I saw it. But anyway, when it came to boys, which I had to, strictly tell them, there's no boyfriends in there's no dating in high school. You can have a boy as a friend, but if y'all ever decide y'all want to go somewhere, I'm coming. You will be chaperoned. Okay, you will be chaperoned. So anyhow, there's a difference. One's light, one is dark. So I had to tell them. I said, listen, for the light one, I said you're gonna have boys and things that are attracted to your type. And I would tell my dark skinned daughter, you're going to have men that are attracted to your type. So there's no need for you guys to look at each other as if one is better than the other. Would tell my dark skinned daughter, you are going to run into black men that are not going to take a liking to your sister. And then your sister is going to run into men that are not going to take a liking to you. I said, but rest assured, and I will repeat this over and over and over again until it's stuck. You guys are going to have men that are attracted to your type. So don't look at each other in a negative fashion. Don't look at each other as if you're better than her or she's better than you, or she's better than you and you're better. Don't do that. You guys are right now, you're on equal footing because there's plenty of men to go around, right? This is how I kept the colorism out of my house. That's how I kept the fighting out of my house. That's how I kept the unity in my house. Okay? We don't do that over here. There's plenty of these men to go around. I would tell them it's gonna be men trying to get close to me to get to y'all, but it ain't happening. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. Nothing but unity in here. No discrimination. No one is above the other. And when I say you get a cake, you get a cake, you get a present, you get a present, that's because every single birthday, everybody's birthday is celebrated. I don't even celebrate individual birthdays. We sing happy birthday. It's everybody's birthday. And then some people say, oh, but that's her special day. No, it's our special day because that is how you maintain unity. At no point and no time do you make a separation. We're all unified. And this is what is wrong with the black community. And this is what's wrong with, I'm just going to put it out there, the dark skinned woman. Quit peeking over here in this light skinned woman's hand to see what she working with and worry about your own damn hand to know what you're working with. Because at the end of the day, I will tell any dark skinned woman and any light skinned woman, baby girl, it's going to be men that like you and not her. And then it's going to be men that like you and not her. So there's no reason to fight because there's plenty of these useless motherfuckers to go around. But it's the fact that on the lighter side of things, it's a majority, right? It's the majority. On the darker side of things, it's a minority. So if we had to say all the people with light skin go over here and all the people with dark skin go over here. Sorry, dark skin, you're going to be the minority. So this is why you see the illusion, because it's an illusion. This is why you see the illusion that the light skinned woman is getting more attention than you are. That is because you're seeing the attention that the white woman gets. You're seeing the attention that the Filipino woman gets. You're seeing the attention that the Hispanic woman gets. You're seeing the attention that all these lighter skinned people are getting. And so you're grouping light skinned black women in that attention getting group. It's an illusion. Because at the end of the day, when you look at marriage statistics, how many black women, dark skin and light skin, are married to men of other races? It's a minority when you look at the interracial couples when it comes to a black woman and a man of another race. It's a small number. But for the fact that you see all these lighter skinned women getting attention, you have automatically grouped light skinned women into that. You see all the privilege that all these other women of other races, the pretty privilege and the white skin privilege that they're getting, that you've grouped light skinned women in with that. But if you separated the light skinned women from the rest of the women in of the other races, you'll see that the attention that light skinned women get is damn near equal to what you get. You know why? Because she's fucking black. But anyway, I digress.
I know y'all seen a bunch of videos surfacing around the web when they're promoting black excellence, black beauty, black goddesses, all that great shit, right? Because it's great. But how often do you see a melanated woman that looks like me or close to it in those videos, in those memes, in those pictures when you Google black goddesses and they pop up all the black goddesses? Yeah, not too many, not too often. I recently saw a video where there was a parade of black women marching, and they were saying, I love being black, as they should, because I do. And I watched that video a few times, and not once did I see a black woman that looked like me. And I've seen many videos like this. We talk about racism a lot, but we're racist against our own race without even noticing it. And where did that stem from?
So this woman complains that a lot of times she feels cast out from the black community because she is a lighter skinned woman, right? And this is something that I would like to discuss. In order. So the first thing she says is, I know this is gonna ruffle some feathers, but let's dip this chip and get started. What? Like that had to be the corniest thing I've heard, at least in the past like week and a half. Like that just made me evaluate myself, because now I'm like, do I be saying corny shit like this thinking that I sound, like witty or cool or something? Like she got me like kind of feeling insecure about myself, because I'm like, am I walking around sounding this fucking corny, thinking that I'm doing something? Let's dip this chip, my dog, diggity. Like, girl, you should like BFFR. You should have cropped that out of the video. That was just a overall 0 out of 10 introduction. But let's get into the actual nitty gritty of what she is saying. The first thing she says is that a lot of light skinned women feel casted out of the community by darker skinned women. And she says, but then you all will tell us that we have light skin privilege or pretty privilege. So light skin privilege and pretty privilege both exist, but yo ugly ass only got one of them. Let's BFFR. I don't know if this is a miscommunication.
Now I know I need glasses and stuff, but there was not one thing ugly about that light skinned girl. There was nothing. I mean, she was stunningly beautiful to me. I mean, just like this young lady right here, she's very beautiful. She's very, very beautiful. Let me stop distorting her face like that. But she's very beautiful. So you see, we can't and we can't what I instilled into my daughters is that you're pretty and you're pretty. You're two different colors, but standing alone, you're pretty and you're pretty. Why can't you both be pretty? Why does one have to be prettier than the other? You have your features are different. Your attitudes are different. Your body types are different. Why can't you be pretty in your own right? And why can't she be pretty in her own right? Why do you need to be prettier than her? Or why do you need to be prettier than her? No, you're prettier standing individually. But let me tell you something, honey. When you put them damn two together, whew, my God, we got an explosion. Gorgeous. Okay. Individually, beauty, beauty. Together, whoo. You know how you the men be when they be shaking their hands like, ooh, hot mama. Same thing with the black community. This girl's pretty in her own way. The other girl's pretty in her own way. But when you put the pretty together, whoo, Lord have mercy, right? What the what, need I even say more?
Maybe, maybe she was having two separate conversations, because I will say that a lot of times pretty privilege is rooted in Eurocentric standards of beauty the same way light skin privilege is. So maybe she was attempting to say, oh, you all will say that it's more easy for me to have pretty privilege because I am light skinned or something.
No, 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 no. See. Second of all, you missed the point of the video, right? She went off into some pretty privileged shit. That's not the point of the video. The point of the video is that as a light skinned woman, she's feeling excluded from the dark skin, from the black woman's movement. So, see, you can't talk about a black woman's movement without including the light skinned black sister because she's black. So, how do you have a movement, a black movement, but you exclude a part of your blackness? Like, I don't get it. That's just like having icing without the damn cake. Like you can't do it. Now you can have the cake without the icing, but when it comes to the black community, if you leave any part of it out, it's like having the icing without the cake. It's like having the peanut butter and jelly without the bread. It's like having the the spaghetti sauce without the spaghetti and noodles. It's like having it's like what the hell? What is this? It don't even sound right. It don't look right. And what are we doing here? This is what this young lady is asking. She's saying like, why? Like, where if we're black and we're trying to have a movement, why would you exclude part of your race in there? So like, you don't want us to you don't need our help. You don't want us to subscribe to y'all channels. You know what I'm saying? You okay? I mean, what can we do? Can't force yourself on nobody. But at the end of the day, we would have turned into school days if light skinned women would have said, okay, well, we're gonna start our movement, then it's gonna be a light skin thing. But luckily they didn't. I think it's a little bit smarter than that. That would have started the whole jigaboo wannabe thing all over again. But yet and still, instead of light skinned women to go ahead and start a light skin, we all subscribe to each other's light skin channels movement. They're simply saying that's not what we want to do. What we want to do is we want to come together as a whole. But this is what this 26-year-old young lady isn't getting. But okay.
Maybe that's what she was trying to say, but it came out wrong. It came out as her saying that light skin is pretty or something. That's where I had to like kind of like side eye.
No, she didn't say light skin was pretty. She said you guys describe light skinned women as having pretty privilege and light skin privilege. She didn't say anything of the sort. First of all, coming together in unity requires listening and comprehension.
because I don't know, the way it was communicated didn't sound right. Now, let me be fair. Pretty privilege is very tied into light skin privilege, because the standard by which prettiness is being measured is
No, you tied it in. At the end of the day, back in the day, they didn't care whether you was a light skinned black person or a dark skinned black person. You was a nigga. So why do you think it's any different fast forwarding to 2020, which last year 2023? Why do you think it's any different? Why? The reason you think it's different is because of interracial relationships. White men can Google gawk over dark skinned and light skinned women. Men of other races can ooh and ah over any woman they choose to. The reason you didn't see it back then because it was not the thing to do. They would be ostracized from their community, called a nigga lover. Their house probably burnt down. Something evil and wicked done to their families and their businesses and establishments and cars and different things of that nature. So they had to stay in line. But the reason you think that light skinned women have so much privilege nowadays is because interracial relationship is legal now. But if if we rewound all the way back, you wouldn't think that, and they didn't think that back then either. We were all as one, light skin, dark skin. We all knew that we was all niggas.
the Eurocentric standard, right? So it's way easier for somebody closer to whiteness to be perceived as pretty than it is for me. So, for example, you look at how you look, but you have light skin and green eyes. Those are features that are close to whiteness.
How you know this woman don't have contact lenses in? She could have some contact lenses in. Congratulations if those are her real eyes. I think they're beautiful. But at the end of the day, you have some dark skinned women that have green eyes and hazel eyes. But they're dark skinned. So what say you about them?
Therefore, it's easier for you to be considered pretty than it is for me. In fact, I feel like I talked about this a long time ago. If I can remember the title of the video, I will put it up here. But I feel like I've spoken before about the fact that oftentimes dark skinned women have
Okay, so the other girl, and I know she said we're gonna break it down, we're gonna talk about it piece by piece. But the fact of the matter is that there's too much emphasis being put on the pretty light skinned privilege comment when that is not the gist of the young lady's video. Her point is that where in that movement was the representation of black women with my skin color, because at the end of the day I am black and I most definitely should have been included and not excluded. But let's see if she get into that. Like I said, I really didn't even get a chance to listen to the whole video, but let's go.
to be like otherworldly beautiful to be considered attractive, while a light skinned woman can look like this and be considered like, like the belle of the ball. Like it's rooted in colorism and it's light skin privilege. It is. But like I said, the way she communicated it was off.
Mm-mm.
Now let me be honest. Let me not hold this girl just because she out here talking doofy. Okay. She's not really ugly, but I mean, she's straight. Like she all right, on a scale from 1 to 10, if 10 is me, like let's be FFR, she would be about, okay, let's say 5 is average. she'll be about a 6. She's above average. She's definitely not ugly, but she kind of talking that talk to me. Like,
Okay. So, see, this is where the foolishness comes in at. What does that have to do with the price of rice in China? That is not, I mean, she's saying the reason that she feels as if light skin wasn't represented in the movement is because black women feel some type of way about the attention and looks of the light skinned woman, right? She's not into, oh, y'all think we think y'all ugly, so y'all didn't want to include us in the movement, or we think we're better than y'all, so y'all didn't want to include us into the movement. No, this is what's being, how would you say, relayed to light skinned women by being excluded from the movement. Y'all feel some type of way because y'all feel as if we get some inexistent attention because we're light skinned. And so therefore, it's all about y'all because you guys aren't getting the same attention. Like I don't get it. I don't get it. Like I honestly feel as if there's going to be a black girl magic, all shades of black women should be included and not made to feel excluded, because that is how you promote unity among all different shades of black people. So what say you? If you want to keep division going, then you'll keep doing movements like that. But I don't see, well, we do see some people who would think that that's cool, and that's the thing to do. But if you're a black person and you want to bring unity to the community, you're going to include all the shades of black people, not just one.
you know, but again, this brings up a conversation about how pretty privilege is tied into, light skin privilege. The fact that she is closer to whiteness than I am means she can look the way she look and be considered to have pretty privilege, but I gotta be Lupita Nyong'o to be considered pretty, right? It's ridiculous. So honestly, she
Who told you you weren't pretty? Or who told you you had to be, I don't know, whoever, Eva Lagongo, who, I don't know who that is, to be considered pretty. Like, why wouldn't you think yourself as pretty? Or why wouldn't you think that other people would consider you to be pretty? Like I said, this is some inner conflict that black women have. They're beautiful. They're beautiful as all outdoors, but it's that inner conflict that prevents them from seeing that. And this illusion of them not being pretty and beautiful is ripping them apart, because it's an illusion. I can tell you that. It is damn sure an illusion. From where I'm sitting and from my eyes, like I said, I do wear glasses, but I don't I just don't see the ugliness. I just don't. I just don't. So who told you you were ugly? Who told you that your skin was ugly? Because it didn't come from the light skinned woman. So I think you're pretty much directing that towards the wrong person.
hold herself even bringing that up. But let me get on with the next part of the video. So the next thing she says is when videos are circulating around the internet that are promoting black excellence, black goddesses, all of this good stuff, very rarely do you see a woman who looks like her. And I had to laugh at this because this woman looks to be about my age. I'm 26 years old, right? Until recently, every single one of those pictures promoting black women's beauty, black women's excellence, black women's whatever was depicted by a woman who looks like you. Now, that wasn't so much the case with black men.
Okay, so baby girl, baby girl. last time I checked, black people are not in charge of billboards. Black people are no longer in charge of products. Black people no longer decide and probably never have decided what was considered the standard of beauty. Black people have no control over what other races of people want to promote in their businesses. We didn't have no control over that. So when you say light skinned women have been promoted over black dark skinned women, that's not our fault. We in there trying to get a check just like you are. It's all about the money, honey. And so what are they supposed to do? They're supposed to turn down money and say, "Oh no, 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 no. I can't represent the light skin portion of blackness because the dark skinned women are going to get mad." It would have been the same if it was black women who had dark skinned black women who have been promoted all this time, right? But back in the day, black women, dark skinned black women, I can honestly say were not promoted as the beautiful ones. It was the light skinned women, but that's when discrimination was heavy and we had no control over that. Even back in the day when you had the white women, the light skinned black women passing for white women, who was bringing them into those establishments? White men. Who was helping them pass as white women? White men. Who was making money off of them, off of the singers that were white looking? White men. We had no control over that. So how can you now turn around and blame us for that, when the fact of the matter is that once these women's identities were found out, once it was discovered that no, they aren't white women, that they are actually black women, I guess it said, well, damn, we've been promoting black women all this time. Well, what's wrong with now promoting the dark skinned woman? This is where Diana Ross came in the picture. All these other dark skinned singers from back in the day, these dark skinned Aretha Franklin and all of them. That's when they came into the picture. So I guess what you can pretty much say is that light skinned women passing for white paved the way for dark skinned women to get their faces put on screen and their voices to be listened to as singers. But at the end of the day, we had and have no control over who these establishments want, whose face they want to put on their products and billboards and on their posters and in their magazines. We have no control over that. But I'll tell you what, if it was more unity in the black community, if it was more black businesses, if black people had, more products to promote and businesses and different things of that nature, we can promote our own people. See, the fact of the matter is that we ain't got shit. That's why we can't promote shit. And that's why, people are able to do what they want to do and promote who they want to promote and whose face they want to use because it's their businesses. So at the end of the day, you can't blame light-skinned black women for somebody else's choice. Those black women that passed for white, they weren't brought into these establishments by white women. They were brought in by white men who knew they were black women.
Very rarely were like, mixed up, ambiguous looking men who you call lightly melanated, very rarely were they representing black men, right? But for a very long time, literally until very recently, into like my adult life.
Well, see, honey, that is because back in the day, there was no possible way that a black man could pass as a white man. You spot on. You can see it. You can see it. But light skinned black women, you put that white makeup on their face and you straighten that hair out fine with that pressing comb, or you put that perm in it. They had the slender bodies. Oh, they were probably half white, right? Their mother was probably white, but there was I rarely, oh, I don't know. I can't reference a black man that passed for white back in the day. And if they did, it was rare because I don't know about it, but I do know of the women that passed as white women that were actually black. But like I said, at the end of the day, they weren't getting in there by themselves. They were being brought in by white men. And it just is what it was. And then back in the day, black people had their own establishments. And probably the reason why the light skinned black woman had to go past as white and get into the white community is because black people wouldn't allow her in theirs. And truth be told, dark skinned black people, y'all been discriminating against light skinned people since slavery, blaming us for the people that's running shit's choices. That would be just like light that would be just like a light skinned woman saying, look at all these black women with the jobs. Look at all these dark skinned black women with the jobs, and we're blaming them, but who hired them? Who hired them? So why would we blame dark skinned black women for making a living? Why would we blame them because we're being discriminated against? That would be stupid. So it's stupid to discriminate and blame a light skinned person for another person's choice of them.
Life, women who look like you were the standard of black women's excellence, black women's beauty, black women's everything. So why are you sitting here acting doofy about this? Like what?
Well, my sweet dear, my sweet darling, let me explain it to you like this. It was like that back in the day because white women didn't want to go up against dark skinned black women. Back then and still today, they want to be the only one seen as beautiful. So why would they plaster your black face all over the country and say that you're the standard of beauty when they want to be the standard? They want to be the only standard of beauty, and their men want them to be the only standard of beauty. But when you go to Mexico, they probably got they Mexican women as their standard of beauty. You go to the Philippines, they got their women as their standard of beauty. You go to Japan, they got their women as the standard of beauty. You go to Africa, they got their women as the standard of beauty. It's not the light skinned person's fault that uh, African American people don't view their woman as a standard of beauty for their community. How is that the light skinned woman's fault? Get your men together. Get your men's minds right. Get y'all minds right.
Watch any show or movie or whatever from the early 2000s and into damn near the present day, like damn near today, and you will immediately notice that the wife and the children in every family are light skinned
Wait,
and
wait,
or
wait.
mixed.
Yeah,
Where
because I got a few choice
watch
words
any
from her.
show or movie or whatever from the early 2000s and into damn near the present day, like damn.
See, baby girl. Ah, you young, honey. You young. You are young. She's young. Because back in the day, back in the 90s, see how she started from 2000? No, boo boo. Going back to the 90s, going back to um what is that? Soul food. Gone back to living single. Gone back to that show that Diana Ross's daughter played in. No, baby. I'm gonna let her finish saying what she's saying, and
Damn
then
near
I'm gonna say,
today, and you will immediately notice that the wife and the children in every family are light skinned and or mixed, whereas the husband and the sons are all unambiguous black men, right? Like, isn't that odd? Isn't that peculiar? You will notice that
no, baby. If you fast forward to today, you will notice that in the media, the husband is black and the woman is of a different is non-black, ma'am. And the little daughter is she looks mixed. So no, they not doing that no more, baby. They not promoting black relationships no more. They're promoting interracial relationships, right? It's interracial relationships. What look isn't Mr. and Mrs. Smith that series? Isn't that a black man and a white woman or something of that nature? Right? I know what she's getting at, but here's what she missed from the 90s is that in every show, the black woman was the married one in the show with the black husband, with the dark skinned black husband, and the light skinned woman was the side chick or the hoe in the show. Look at Soul Food. Look at you have look at that. I forget who that show is with that. I think he's the police officer, and he got the black wife, and you know what I'm saying. That I forget what the name of that show is, but no, baby girl, they not promoting them. They not promoting black on black relationship shows anymore. It don't even matter if the chick is light skinned and he's dark skinned. They not doing that no more, baby girl. I don't know what shows you watching, but that's not what I see. And that's definitely how it was not in the 90s. It was always um the black woman was married with the kids, and the light skinned woman was the side chick or the hoe or the promiscuous one.
if there is a dark skinned black woman on the show, she's usually like the sidekick who is considered to be ugly and can't get a man, shit like that. In fact, let's just think off the top of my head. Martin, come on now. We all know that Gina looked worse than Pam. We all know that. We all know that. But for some reason on the show, Gina was regarded as like the epitome of beauty, and Pam was like, ugh, like yuck. Like, and
Well, here's the thing, ma'am. In that show, Pam and Gina were good friends. That's what you need to be addressing. You don't need you shouldn't be addressing the relationship factors or the attraction factors in the show. The show is depicting a light-skinned woman and a dark-skinned woman as best friends. That is the topic of the story. They got you looking at the relationship aspects. What I saw in that, what I took away from that show was I took away from that show unity between a light-skinned woman and a dark-skinned woman, irregardless of how the men felt about both of them, irregardless of how Martin treated Pam. Gina was Pam's friend. No matter how they talked about Pam and how they called Gina Big Head, Pam stayed true to her friendship with Gina. Pam never slept with her man. Pam never made any advances at her man. Pam never threw herself at Gina's man. Okay? That is what I took away. I took away that they were best friends, light skin and dark skin. And then even when you go to Kid and Play, light skinned woman and dark skinned woman together as friends. So while you're sitting here promoting separation, those shows were actually promoting togetherness and friendship and unity between the light skinned woman and the dark skinned woman. But you didn't take away from that. All you saw was you saw the men. Take the men out the equation. Take the men out of that show. And what do you have? You have Gina and Pam who were BFFs to the end. You missed it.
That's because Gina was light skinned like you. This is a good example of how like equality is seen as oppression to people who are used to having an unfair advantage, right? This is the honest to God truth. This is the honest to God truth. Most black people don't look like you. Like I grew up in Detroit, went to Detroit public schools, you know. When you walk into a classroom, most of the black people look like me. Yet, people like you were representing black women and black girls for a very long time, even though y'all don't make up any sort of percentage of
Okay, and so whose fault is that? And so whose fault is that? Right? Whose fault is that? That's not the light skinned woman's fault. That's more than likely white people's fault, and then your black men followed suit. So what are light skinned women supposed to do? We supposed to say, oh no, I can't accept that because the dark skinned women can't have it. No, 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 I can't accept that job because, you know, you didn't hire the dark skinned woman as well. Oh no, 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 no. I can't do that photo shoot because there's no dark skinned women in the photo shoot. No, 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 I can't. When it comes down to feeding your family, resources, and different things of that nature, I don't know who's going to turn that down. If black people had the power and white folks needed resources and black people was giving them out, do you think they would be like, oh no, 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 I can't take those resources because it's coming from a black person? Hell fuck no, they're gonna get them resources and they're gonna fuck off. But at the end of the day, when they go back to their community after getting their resources from black folks and go, they unify still. So it's as if these dark skinned black women are punishing light skinned women for utilizing the resources made available to them to take care of themselves, feed their families, when it's hard to. So we're light skinned and we can't go to the dark skinned black community and get anything because y'all don't like us because of our skin color. So we got, maybe some lighter skinned people over here offering us resources, or maybe not. But the resources that we're getting offered we have to take them. We ain't got no choice. We can't come get it. Where we supposed to get it from? We can't get it from y'all. Y'all won't even include us in a stupid movement, a stupid subscribe to each other's channels movement. So when, how, and where are we supposed to put our trust in dark skinned black folks when y'all don't like us? And then we go over here to the lighter skinned folks. They don't like us either. They don't like us because they don't only not like us because we're light skinned. They don't like us because we're black, silly. Slowness.
Us. Like, there might be, if you walk into a classroom in Detroit Public Schools, a classroom of 30 kids, say there's 15 girls, about 13 of the girls are going to be dark skinned or brown skinned, maybe 12 of the girls. And then you might have like three light skinned ones. Honestly, that's pushing.
And what's your point? What's your point? Because nowadays you're in a black state. You're in a black community, right? You're in a community, it's probably a impoverished community. So what white person would you see procreating with a bunch of poor black persons unless it's probably a poor white woman? That's probably where the little light skinned three little light skinned girls came from. A white woman, mingling around the black community. So of course, if you're in a black dominated community, you're gonna have mostly black girls. That's anywhere you go, and you're gonna have a few light skinned ones. But you probably only saw that in that they probably spread the little light skinned girls out amongst the school. So what you're trying to say is that just because you had three little light skinned girls in your one class, that they was the only three little light skinned girls in the school? No, what they supposed to do? Put all the light skin, or we're gonna put all the light skinned kids in one class? No, they were spread out across the school. I mean, slowness.
That's honestly pushing it right there, right? Y'all don't make up any sort of majority of us at all, but you mad when you don't take up the majority of the representation.
No, no, she's not. That's not what she said. She said there was not a light skinned woman there to represent her skin tone. She didn't say, "Oh, you." The movement should have been all light skinned people because we deserve all the attention. That's not what she said. She said for a black girls movement, there should have been a few shades to represent all the shades of black women. I could see the majority being dark skinned black women because yes, you guys do dominate. Yes, I agree 100%. But yet still it doesn't mean that there shouldn't have been a caramel one, a yellow one, you know, a brown skin one, and some and dark skinned ones. What's wrong with her asking why were light skinned women excluded from the movement? I mean, who put that in the memo to exclude light skinned women from the movement? Seemed kind of unfair, right? But then when a white person go upside your head, that's when y'all gonna want light skinned women to join your movement, huh? Huh? When something has been done to you, then you gonna want light skinned women to join your movement. Hmm?
this woman is so used to taking up the majority of representation for a black woman that when things actually start to be, administered fairly, she feels that that's oppressive.
No, baby girl, administer fairly is having a shade of all black people. That's administered fairly. No, what you're saying is that, oh, light skinned women are so used to representing the black community that when dark skinned black women get together and exclude them for the first time, they're all upset because they don't get to rule the majority. No, that's just not, that's so in other words, you could pretty much say that y'all did that shit on purpose and you're causing separation. So this is why you'll never get anywhere. You'll never get anywhere alone. There's always going to be many, many shades of black. And without all of the shades of black in the movement, you're just going to be icing without the cake.
Girl, you know good and well, because like I said, this woman looks like she's about my age. Growing up, you didn't see no dark skinned black woman on TV. When somebody was talking about black excellence or black beauty, it was a woman who looked like you. But now you want to sit here and cry and complain when
What we want to sit here and cry and complain. We never had control over that. And then when you look at the women that were put in these movies, their mothers were white. So you must be talking about Haley Berry, beautiful, beautiful, stunningly beautiful Haley Berry. Her mama was white. That's probably why she got into the movies and got the attention that she received. Ma'am, the lady that played Columbiana, her daddy was white. Ma'am, that's why she got to do what she got to do. Okay? So you're not peeling back the layers of the onion enough. Okay? You got to peel that onion back some more. Hmm? So stop it. Black men are going to have the same, dark skinned black men are going to have the same qualms about light skinned men. Oh, the light skinned man was the high yellow nigga. But a lot of their mamas are white. Okay? So they're not just light skinned just because they're light skinned and you got to reach all the, with a lot of light skinned people, you really have to reach back into their lineage to find a white person. But the light skinned people that you're talking about, no, all you have to do is look at their mama or look at their daddy. And that is where their privilege is coming from. The average light skinned girl with a black mama and a black daddy, there's no goddamn privilege for her. Ma'am, wake up, please. But I know you young. I know you're young. But you need to wake up and you need to peel back more layers of the onion that you're holding. You haven't peeled back enough layers.
black women are starting to like uplift the features that actually make us black, because I'm about to hurt some feelings with this shit, but you didn't get that light skin and those green eyes from your black ancestors. You did not. You got that from having a significant amount of white blood in you. That's just the reality. Okay, identify as black if you want to, but let's BFFR. Those not black features you rocking, bull. You can holler and cry black people in all shades all you want, but you clearly have a significant amount of white blood in you. You walk around damn near translucent with some green eyes, complaining about the fact that you don't get to represent black women. You're upset because we're actually
No, it's not that she didn't want to represent the whole black community. What she wanted to see a woman that represented her skin tone. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with you black people? I, y'all got some problems. I'm pretty much done. I can't do it. I can't do it. Um here's the thing with that. The discrimination of light skinned black women. It's real. It's real. And we get it from dark skinned black women, and then we get it from the other races. So we're like in the middle, right? We're in the middle and we're on defense. So it's like, you mean to tell me, as dark skinned black women, the terrible, 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 terrible way that you were treated or your ancestors were treated. You mean to tell me in 2024, the only smoke you have is for light skinned black people? That's the only smoke you got? That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. But anyway, I'm gonna get up out of here. I'm going to bed. I'm tired. Bye, y'all.